This is one of those stories that only came out because one person refused to follow instructions. It happened on a luxury cruise crossing the Atlantic. Not a massive ship, but big enough over 2,000 passengers. Full crew, everything running on a tight schedule. The kind of place where nothing is supposed to go wrong. There was a couple on board, Daniel and Lila. They were in their early 30s. They were not thrill seekers or anything like that. Just normal people who had saved up for a quiet trip. The first day was completely uneventful. Dinner reservations, crowded decks, music playing late into the night. It was the second night when things started to feel off. Around 11:30 p.m., an announcement came over the speakers. It was calm. Controlled. Almost too calm. Attention all guests. Please return to your cabins immediately and remain inside until further notice. This is a safety precaution. There was no explanation. No urgency in the voice. But something about it made people move quickly. Staff began directing passengers back toward their rooms. Conversations died down. The atmosphere shifted, without anyone really saying why. Daniel and Lila followed the crowd at first. But once they reached their hallway, things did not feel right. There were no crew members there, no movement, just doors closing, one after another, until the entire corridor went quiet. Lila reached for their door. Daniel stopped her. "Wait a second," he said. She looked at him. "For what?" He did not have a good answer, but he could not shake the feeling that whatever that announcement was about, it wasn't over. They stood there for a moment. Then Daniel said, "Let us just check the deck real quick." They did not go inside. They walked the opposite direction. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Lights were still on. The ship felt steady. No alarms, no signs of panic. But the deeper they went, the more unsettling it became. They passed a bar where drinks were still sitting untouched. A chair was knocked slightly out of place, like someone had stood up too fast. A phone buzzed softly on a table with no one there to answer it. Lila slowed down. "Where is everyone?" Daniel did not respond. They reached a set of glass doors leading out to the main deck. The music was still playing. The pool lights were glowing. But the entire deck was empty. Not a single person. That is when Lila grabbed his arm. "Okay, we should go back." They turned around quickly, and that is when they noticed something neither of them had seen before. Every cabin door in the hallway they entered was slightly open, not wide, just enough to show darkness inside. Daniel pushed one open. Inside, a suitcase was half-packed, clothes folded neatly on the bed. A watch sat on the nightstand, everything exactly where it should be, except the person who owned it. They checked another room. Same thing, another, same. No signs of struggle, no signs of panic, just absence. Now they were moving faster, calling out. "Hello? Is anyone here?" Nothing came back, not even an echo. Eventually, they made their way down toward the lower decks, where the crew operated most of the ship's systems. The door to the security room was unlocked. Inside, the monitors were still on. Camera feeds from all over the ship filled the screens. Every hallway, every deck, every room, all empty, except one feed. Daniel leaned closer. "This one's not live," he said. The timestamp read 11:41 p.m., just minutes after the announcement. At first, it looked normal. Then people began to appear, one by one, then in groups. Walking, not running, not panicking, just walking calmly in the same direction. Lila frowned. Why are they all moving like that? No one was speaking. No one was looking around. It was like they all knew exactly where they were going. Daniel switched to another camera. Different hallway. Same thing. Another. Same. Every feed showed the same quiet movement. All of them heading toward the lower decks, toward the same place. He found the exit camera, the lifeboat deck. Lila stepped back when she saw it. Every lifeboat was gone. The footage showed people stepping forward in lines, one after another. No hesitation, no resistance, just stepping off the ship into darkness. Daniel rewound it, watched it again, slower this time. That is when he noticed something strange. Near the edge of one frame, there were two people standing still, not moving with the others, just watching. He zoomed in. The image blurred, slightly, but not enough. It was them, Daniel and Lila, standing there, facing the crowd, watching everyone leave. Lila shook her head immediately. No, that is not. We were not there. Daniel did not answer. He checked the timestamp again, 11:41 p.m. Exactly when the announcement had been made. Exactly when they were supposed to be in their hallway. He tried to remember. Tried to picture where they were at that exact moment. But there was nothing. No memory. Just a gap, like something had been cut out. Behind them, somewhere deep in the ship, a loud metallic clang echoed through the corridor. They both turned. For the first time since they started searching, the silence felt different. Not empty, occupied. Lila whispered, "Did you hear that?" Daniel nodded slowly. Another sound followed. A door, closing, somewhere closer this time. They looked back at the monitors. The live feeds were still running, still empty, except now. One of them showed movement. At the far end of a hallway, a figure, standing still, facing the camera, too far away to make out clearly. But not gone. Not like everyone else. Daniel leaned in, barely breathing. The figure did not move, did not walk, just stood there, like it was waiting. Lila grabbed his arm, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to leave." But Daniel couldn't take his eyes off the screen, because slowly, very slowly, the figure began to tilt its head, and then it started walking, not toward the camera, but away from it, in the same direction everyone else had gone.